Okay, we're recording. Awesome. Hi, you probably know me, but if you don't, Heather here. I I was going to do this live, and then I decided to just record it because I want to make sure that I have the recording for future use. And so I am doing this in one take. This will not be edited. You are getting exactly as it is as you see it. And that's also intentional because one of the things that people say to me is that they love how I just show up in the moment and what you see is what you get. Literally just got out of the shower, still have wet hair. I don't do the polishing of the things to show up on video in this setting anyway. Other settings perhaps, but not in this one. Again, purposeful and intentional because I don't like filters. I don't like hiding. I don't like editing. I think there's way too much of that going on in the world. So I am here, coffee in hand, to talk a little bit about what I do because I think I would like to perhaps put some energy out there to clarify some things. I work with people primarily one-on-one on Zoom. I do not do in-person meetings. I have not done in-person meetings for quite some time. I, at one point, did entertain the idea a few times of opening up my space, and every time I did, something happened and it didn't work out. So I stopped and elected to just do all of my work online, one-on-one Zoom meetings. It works. And it's what I've been doing for several years now. I host small classes online. I host a small group membership online. And I have had various email type offerings and newsletter and subscriptions and that sort of thing. Why I wanted to talk to you a little bit about the one-on-one work is because there are a lot of misconceptions in general in the, I want to say, coaching industry, the healing industry, the psychic industry. And I'm here to talk to you about what I do. I don't need to talk about what other people are doing. I just want to tell you about who I am and how I'm showing up. And maybe that will help you decide if it's something that works for your life and what you want. What isn't working for me right now is the fact that I have a cat hair, I think, in both eyes because I was just playing with my cats. Yes, that's right. We have 2 cats. So, deep breath. Let's have a conversation, shall we? When I first started out helping people, I do this a lot. It was specifically in the capacity of wearing an addictions counselor hat. I spent 4 years helping people at a treatment center, and I did that in addition to working a full-time job in a completely unrelated industry for 20 years. The counseling, helping, healing work began, oh my goodness, 15 years ago, rough math. And it slowly morphed into what it is today. So I don't want to give you an entire catalog of history here, but that's kind of where it started. So that's where I got the desire, the taste, the call to take the work I was doing in that capacity and bring it out to more people and kind of just show up differently in the world in some capacity. I've gone down the coaching avenues. I've gone down trying to get really specific on niching. Those of you who know me, I am anti-niche, which is a story for another day. Because the truth is, where I come in to help people is most often meet people where they're at, assuming I can help in a clean way. And what that means is, as long as there isn't a specific bias that I have or a particular situation that causes me to not be able to have a clean vision or a lens through which I can look at to be able to assist, then I will meet you where you're at. So for example, if somebody is in active alcoholism or active drug addiction, I cannot and will not sign up to help them. It's a boundary, and it's an example I like to use. It seems very extreme because most people in that situation would not even be in the orbit to find me necessarily. But it's an example that I like to use. So other people will say, well, you know, what's an example of someone who's not in an addiction? What's an example of a hard nope? And the truth is, a lot of the times I don't have a list. Like I don't have a list that I go, oh, if you tick these boxes, I am not going to work with you. Some things are pretty obvious, just based on personality and values, and that sort of thing. But this is why I don't niche, because typically, every single person I work with, there are common things, mostly female, mostly between 35 and I want to say 55, mostly run their own schedules, mostly either have no kids or they have adult kids or close to adult kids. Those are the types of like demographic details. Again, none of it really matters because I talk to men as well. I help men and women. I've helped teenagers. I've connected with kids even. And so I cast a wide net because I really believe that I'm here to help whoever crosses paths with me, even if it's not in an active one-on-one setting. So specific to the type of work, there are different roads that people take. If we use the example of somebody who has an acute issue. So for example, someone gets into a car accident and they've got back issues now and they're not feeling well and they get headaches a lot and they can't quite, move through their day comfortably. They'll probably go to a chiropractor, massage therapist, maybe do a little bit of physio and get their body back up to optimal condition, right? Best case scenario, of course. I'm being very, very simplistic level here on purpose because I will be here for days talking if I don't. So that's an acute thing. A thing happens, we call in the supports to help the thing. That's an example of a one-on-one session with me. So maybe you haven't been feeling well. Maybe your last couple of weeks, you're just kind of like, ugh, like things just kind of hit the skids and you're not feeling the way you want to feel. Maybe there's been an event in your life, perhaps a relationship has ended, or maybe you've changed jobs, and you're just kind of looking for maybe a little bit of a pick-me-up. A little bit of I just want to release this crap out of my head and out of my body. And I would like to just feel better. So that's the type of in the moment, a thing has happened, you get the support that you need one-on-one. The other road is a longer term arrangement because the situation or the situations that are in your life are a longer term thing. So it's a little more chronic. So we're talking decades long. We're talking a year long, 6 months, 3 months. Anything that for me that has gone on for longer than a month, I consider it to be I categorize it as a chronic issue because anything that doesn't kind of shake out within a couple of weeks, there's something more going on. When it comes to a longer term situation that we're trying to heal or feel better about, I spend the first session at least getting all the details, talking about what's going on, what has been happening. And I take all of that information and I dissect it and I play back to you what the specific themes or patterns that I'm seeing. And I dig in a little bit with those details so as to offer some helpful feedback as to what I think is going on. If it resonates, usually the person will be like, yeah, you got it, right? And then the plan of working forward. Someone asked me the other day, well, how many sessions should I be prepared for? And the truth of it is, every single person is different. Every single person has a different capacity, and every single person has their own timeline and their own journey. What one person can work on and come to a new understanding or a new way of being with a particular set of circumstances or issues could be 5 sessions, could be 3 sessions. Somebody else, it could take them several months. There are people who like to get a weekly meeting in. There are people who like to do every other week. There are people who like to do monthly. People like time in between for processing. Some people like the weekly accountability. I don't do specific, you get this package or this package. I speak to each person on an individual basis based on what information I have and based on specific questions that I ask, like, hey, how much time do you have to work on this stuff in between sessions? What else is going on in your life? What are your other responsibilities? What is the capacity that you have to spend working on yourself every day? I personally, I see my healer once a month and I see my naturopath every 6 to 8 weeks. So it really just depends on what it is you need and what season you're in. So what is the benefit of one over the other? Both are supportive, both get you some help, and some people like to keep things casual. I don't have a monthly massage scheduled, but if I did, I'd go, I'd probably feel better, and I should probably, get that on the calendar, but it's not something I set out specifically to do. I typically do more longer term things, right? Like I'm thinking out, okay, 3 to 6 months, this is what I'm going to focus on. This is the season that I'm in. These are the things I want to work on. So when it comes to the how or the what I call myself or any of that, I absolutely hate elevator pitches and I hate titles and I hate labels. And so the best way I can explain it and the best way I like to explain it is I take all of my teachings, learnings, knowings, etc., and bring it to every experience that I'm in with a person. Many people will say to you that I have a very strong ability and gift of intuitive knowing. I can connect with somebody, pull out all kinds of information and share it back to them. And they're like, oh my goodness, how did you pick all of that up and know all of that? It's because one of my strongest abilities is to read energy, which is why I need so much quiet time and I need so much downtime and I need so much alone time. I am constantly bombarded with energy everywhere I go, all the time. It's always around. I'm not actively reading it, but I am always feeling it. When I am actively feeling it, meaning I'm in a session with someone, because I do not read energy without permission. I do not just sit there in a group and be like, oh, what's going on with this person's energy? What's going on with that person's energy? That to me is an absolute no. It's a crossed boundary. It's a broken trust. I don't do that. I'd also probably drive myself crazy if that's what I sat around doing when I'm in social settings or when I'm in the grocery store or when I'm walking down the street. I only have so much energy, so I'm not going to spend it doing that. I take that ability, that gift, thank you, creator spirit, and with that, help people dissect, unpack, understand what it is that's going on and where we want to focus effort, energy, and next steps. I don't like to call myself a life coach because of various reasons in said industry, but I will use it in terms of context. There is a life coaching element, there's a business coaching element, and it all comes down to the individual person and what they need and what areas of their life they're trying to work on and improve upon. So, am I psychic? Do I look into crystal balls and predict futures? Absolutely not. Am I intuitively guided and can I anticipate what is going to happen in a person's life based on their current energy signature and the frequency that they're operating at and what they're putting out? Absolutely 100% yes. I don't believe in fortune telling. I don't believe, like for me personally to do is what I'm saying. I'm not saying I don't believe in it for other people. I don't believe in it in terms of it being something I offer people. I work in the present with people, whereas other practitioners will work in the future with people. I am only ever shown what I am meant to see and what I am meant to share. I have a strong belief that we souls only show other souls, bodies, beings, people, what we have permission and what we feel safe sharing. Cognitively, we might not think we would, but our body, our being knows differently, knows what it can trust, knows what it does and doesn't want to offer. And that's where I do my work. So someone may articulate something specific and say, this is the problem, blah, blah, blah. 99% of the time when someone says, I'm upset about X, Y, Z, ABC, whatever the thing is, there's another reason behind it. There's another reason, there's an actual feeling, there's a situation, and I get behind the surface level stuff that's being presented. So I hope this was helpful to someone considering working with me. Just kind of freestyling it this morning and thought that intuitively this was the thing I was supposed to do. So if you have any questions, send me a note, drop me a comment below. And yeah, that's all I wanted to share for now. Thanks for listening.